Hey guys, thank you for tuning in for another story time. This one is gonna be like I want to say a part 2, but not really. It's just telling you more about assistant number 1. So if you've been waiting to find out more about assistant number 1, this story time is for you. So I'm gonna try to take my time telling this story so that I can tell the story in order, because this happened a minute ago, and so some of these details are a little fuzzy. So yeah, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'm going to name my boss in this story Tricky. You guys know that I started being her assistant first. Well, I was in college full time when I had gotten my cosmetology license, and I was also working another job. So when I was her assistant, a personal issue had came up, and around this time, y'all, I was really trying to quit because I felt like I wasn't learning anything. I really didn't like her, and I'm pretty sure she probably didn't like things about me as well, because I'm not gonna make it seem like I was just this sweetest, cutest little assistant ever, because sometimes that wasn't the case. So also, I felt like what she promised me when I began to be her assistant was not what was happening when I was being her assistant, and I was over it because I had only been her assistant for maybe, it might have been a year or almost a year. So this particular time, Tricky was doing my hair, and she was like, you know what, I think that you should go and take some time off, focus on your situation and handle it. But little did she know that my situation was still an active situation, but it was being handled. And also she felt like I wasn't focused enough, and like she felt like I didn't talk a lot about the salon. I talked more about going to school, which, not to be funny, I felt like I talked more about school because that's what people would ask me about, because her clients knew that I was in school full time. So of course they're gonna ask me like, how's school going and da-da-da. And so, you know, I would just tell them about things that was happening, things that I was learning and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I wanna say maybe on my last week or so, there was a beautiful girl that walked through the door with like this really pretty, naturally curly hair. I forgot exactly how she had it styled. Anyways, she come in the door, and so the only part I overheard was that she was inquiring about a booth. And when I looked at her, the first thing something told me like, that's gonna be her assistant. And little did y'all know that that was actually assistant number 1. After that day, I never saw her again. So I want to say it might have been my last day that I was working. I'm not sure, because this was like a long time ago. 2 or 3 years had went by, and it was 3 years had went by, and I came back as her assistant again. So I came back and I was getting acclimated with everybody, and I really didn't want to be that girl that came in acting like she knew everything and that she owned the place, and like, you know, I was a fan favorite and a Beyonce of everybody. Like, hey girl, did you miss me? Da da da. Because, not to be funny, a lot of people might not remember you. Like, a lot can happen in 3 years. I look the same, but again, a lot can happen in 3 years. So, you know, I just came in like I came in the first time, like, you know, getting to know everybody, getting to know the systems and things like that. So assistant number 1 was doing a really good job of her job. Like, she would reintroduce me to clients, and I will say that assistant number 1 was super funny. She was super sassy. She was really sweet, and you know, she was just a ball of good time. That's just what the best way I can really describe her was. Like, she was just a ball of fun. So, you know, she would just let me know like, okay, we do this, we do that, because Tricky had a particular way of doing things, and she also had a way of like what she wanted you to use on her clients, like from the shampoo to the conditioner to the leave-in, if you had to spray leave-in, and just things like that. Which as an assistant, you should do things the way that your boss wants you to do it. So anyway, so I didn't have no problem with that. So she was just instructing me and walking me through everything. I felt like me and assistant number 1 was off to a really good start, like getting to know each other, getting to know each other's background as far as like hairstyling, like where did we come from, where did we work last, like what's our favorite thing to do, like real hairstylist conversations that we tend to have. We threw a little bit of funny jokes in there, kind of chit-chatting about our family and things like that. So she was real cool. Personally, I feel like Tricky was player hating, because I say that because I felt like she was using her and me and pitting us against each other by complaining to each other about one another. Like when I first started back working there, at first it was kind of easy, but then I felt like I hit this patch. And once I hit this patch, it was just rough from that time on to the time that I quit. But because this story is about assistant number one, we're gonna keep it about her. Basically, I felt like Tricky was just always nitpicking on me, and she would do it in an indirect way, like more of like a passive aggressive way. And so she would use assistant number one to tell me her gripes with me, like her issues with me, things that I needed to improve on, things that she had an issue with, versus her telling me to do that. One day I was sitting at the front desk and I could hear them because the salon ain't that big, and I could hear them, and she was complaining about me. And when I say it burnt my grits so bad, butter couldn't even make them taste good. I was so mad and I was so irritated because, like I said, I think this was like the first or the second time that I had overheard her complaining about me. And like I said, at this point, assistant number one had came up to me a couple times before, you know, just voicing her opinions about what Tricky was telling her to tell me. So finally, assistant number one came up to me and she told me something. She was like, oh, you know, she just wanted me to tell you this, that, and the third, and try to see like what I can do to help. And so I got mad, and I was like, first of all, I don't understand why she's using you as a middleman. If she needs to tell me something, or if she has an issue about what I do, what I wear, she can tell me. I'm not understanding why she's using you to be the middleman. I don't get it. And this is when it got revealed that she was trying to put her as a manager. And I'm like, okay, but that wasn't revealed at the time when you kept continuously giving me constructive criticism that I didn't ask for, or being a bone collector. Like, I didn't understand that. I didn't say this, but this is what I'm thinking. So I'm like, I feel from the very beginning, she should have said that assistant number one was going to be a manager, and she was training her to be a manager, because then I feel like the constructive criticism would have been, matter of fact, it wasn't even constructive. I felt like it was just criticism. I felt like it would have been received a little bit better. And then maybe I feel like maybe she should have told assistant number one how to approach it versus making it sound like she's bringing back bones. You know what I'm saying? But again, I feel like Tricky was player hating, because you see that we getting cool and now you trying to use her to correct me. And I noticed that jobs do that. Like when they're getting ready to promote somebody and they see that y'all are being too friendly, they make that person be the one to check you. And it's like, it's almost like they're trying to break the friendship, or trying to train that person that's about to be the manager, like, you can't be too friendly with them because they'll try to feel like they could get over on you. I don't take advantage of people. So you don't have to do that with me. Just tell me what it is. That's it. I might get irritated, but if you in charge, you in charge. So back to the story. So once that was revealed, I was like, okay, whatever. You still player hating. You're still being messy, okay? The first incident that we had as a salon was when we had gotten a third assistant, and we ended up having a salon meeting. And this is when I feel like the relationship between Tricky and assistant number one really started getting tested. So let me explain their relationship. I feel like, this is my interpretation, they got really, really close over the 3 years that I was not there. They bonded over like things, like whether it was similar things that they were going through, similar things that they have been through, or, you know, just whatever, they were bonding. So you could tell that they really had a friendship, because even assistant number one had a couple friendships with her clients outside of work as well. So this wasn't just a work relationship. This was even one that was outside, which really meant something, because to me, if you friends with a coworker outside of work, oh, that's your dog for sure. Like, y'all not work buddies. Y'all really cool. Y'all are really friends. Y'all are really invested. So anyways, back to the work meeting. So we're having a conversation. An issue comes up. Me and assistant number three had did a giveaway. And the giveaway was brought up because assistant number one was like, well, I feel like y'all took money out of my pocket. We didn't know that the little girl that got the giveaway was actually her client that was supposed to come in, and she didn't come in. We didn't know that. So I spoke up and I said, well, how was we supposed to know that that was your client? And I also spoke up and I said, well, we did this giveaway last year as well, and it was a hit. Giveaways are really good for building your business. So anyways, Tricky chimes in and was like, well, in all my years of being a hairstylist, I've never given anything away for free, and I've never given discounts. Okay, like, I don't understand what that has anything to do with the cost of gas prices. Like, what? So in my head, I'm getting bothered because I'm like, we 1099. Like, we are independent contractors. However we run our business, as long as it's not affecting your business in a way that it can tear it down or ruin the reputation of that business, you shouldn't care as long as you get your rent money and you get it on time. That's it. Basically, in so many words, Tricky basically said, like, we couldn't do stuff like that no more. So assistant number one was already hot about it. And I'm like, well, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Tricky brings up something about the salon and about how she's getting ready to retire and she doesn't know who she's going to give the salon to. And she was like, it could go to you, it could go to you, or it could go to you. When she said this, I promise, I felt like a little bulb of thoughts popped up on everybody's head that said the same thing. Like, hold on. She's saying they could go to either one of us and not one of us? Like, what? Because that's not why I came back. Remember I told you I was going to tell you why I came back? That's why Tricky was commenting on my Facebook pictures and stuff like that. Like, oh, you're so beautiful. You know, when I look all glammed up, I'm really that girl. Anyway, oh, you know, you should come by. You should come and see me. Da-da-da, whoop-whoop, blah-blah. So finally, I bit the bullet and I went to go see her. When I went to go see her, that's when she was like, oh, you know, you should really come back because I'm looking to retire pretty soon. And I'm trying to train somebody that I can be, I'm trying to find somebody that I can train to take over the salon when I get ready to retire. And I'm going to show you like how I run the books, like the back end on it, like the financials and orders and how I stock inventory and da-da-da, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, bet, because this is piquing my interest because it's natural for a hairstylist to want to own a salon. Most of every hairstylist you meet will always want to own a salon, okay? So I'm like, okay, bet, this sounds good to me. Little did we know, she's telling everybody that. She's making everybody feel like they that one and not the two. This was strike one for assistant number one. We didn't say anything to each other after that meeting while she was there. But when me and assistant number one were alone, she let it go. She was like, basically, I'm paraphrasing. She was like, that's not what she told me. Like, this is why I've been around so long, because she's been telling me for some time now, I'm gonna get a salon to you. I'm grooming you to be the next me. I'm grooming you to give you the salon. And you know what I'm saying? So she irritated because she like, wait a minute. Like, how you gonna say something like that in front of everybody? Like, when did the plan change? So remember when I told y'all that I wanted to be her assistant because I wanted to learn stuff from her, right? Well, we got assistant number three. When we got assistant number three, I believe that's around the same time that we had started doing classes. If it was before assistant number three, charge it to my head, not to my heart. So we were starting to learn like basic skills. So I'm excited because I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? So we wouldn't do it every Saturday. I think it was like we would do it one Saturday a month, I think, or something like that. So anyways, at first, assistant number one was coming. And when she would come, of course, she liked the life of the party. So we're like, yeah, this is going to be a good day. We're going to be able to power through it because sometimes them lessons was boring, child. And I'm like, so yeah, she going to bring it. Well, one of the classes, she didn't show up. And I'm like, dang, why she ain't show up? Like, that's so weird for her not to show up, because as the manager, you should be showing up to these things and looking supportive and, you know, participating. Well, when she came back to work, she basically told me, like, I didn't feel the need to show up because she's basically teaching y'all stuff that she already taught me. Like, it's not a point in doing it, which I'm not gonna lie. The stuff that we was learning was like basic stuff. It wasn't fun. It wasn't like, you know how you learn the same thing, but in a new way that piques your interest or inspires you to do better. These classes was not like that. So I understand what she's saying. So I was just like, oh, okay, I see what you mean. I'm gonna call that strike two, just because I could see that their relationship started deteriorating after that meeting. So then some time had passed again and we had another class. She didn't show up again, but this time nobody knew that she wasn't coming. So I'm like, what's really going on? And I think, like, I don't know if somebody had texted her or called her. I think I might have texted her too, and she just wasn't responding. Now, this part is where that my boss made her client hair fall out and blamed it on the assistant. This was that story. That situation happened. That was strike three. That was the final strike for her. Like, she was over it. She was done. She couldn't take no more. Take her off the burner. She's done. She ended up packing all her stuff. I don't know what day she came in. I feel like she came in and packed up all of her stuff like after we left for the class. It had to be somewhere between, I'm gonna say between Saturday and Monday. She had to have came in there and gotten all her stuff, because when we came in on Tuesday, her stuff was completely gone. And I believe she left a note on her station, if my memory serves me correct. But I want to go back a little bit. So before the incident with the whole hair falling out in the sink situation, assistant number one was getting pissed with that woman, because she was like, stuff is changing. Like, I don't know who this woman is anymore. Like, what we bonded over, I feel like, is she changing? Is she trying to be something that she's not? Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand. Like, plans are changing, and I'm just like, this is not what we talked about. I could tell that she was very upset and she was very frustrated. When that incident happened with that woman's hair falling out, she was very pissed, and I would have been too, because you tried to make it seem like I made that woman's hair fall out. Like, it was my fault that that woman's hair fell out in a sink, and it wasn't. It was not. Instead of you putting your big girl panties on, you blamed it on somebody who didn't have anything to do with anything. That's foul to me. So anyway, to end this story, Tricky tried to act like she was just so hurt that assistant number one would leave the way that she did and didn't give her a heads up and things like that. But I feel like that girl's feelings was hurt. I'm not gonna even lie. Her feelings were hurt, and she felt like a friend had betrayed her. She felt like someone who had became family betrayed her, and she felt like the person that she met 3-4 years ago was not the same person that she knew now. And she felt like when she started getting all of those assistants, I feel, this is my opinion, I feel like she felt like her place was being taken away and she wasn't needed anymore. On top of all of the changes that she was seeing in Tricky, she couldn't take it, and I wouldn't have been able to take it either, because now I feel like you a liar, and why did you have me hanging on this long, and you promised me all of this stuff, and you were not gonna fulfill your promise. And let me tell y'all something. Guess what? Nobody ended up getting that salon. You know what? When that salon went on the market, I think the salon was listed for, was it 10,000? I think it was something like that. Nobody got that salon. Somebody bought it, but I don't know exactly who got the salon, but I know it wasn't her. All in all, I guess being a hairstylist is fun. I don't really know yet. Like, I don't know, pineapples. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this story. Let me know if you want to hear any more stories. I really don't have that many, but I mean, the few that I do have, I can tell y'all. So please just leave it in the comments, and remember that it's you that makes you beautiful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.